Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is David Novak. I am going to open a parcel which just arrived, feeding an addiction. Generally speaking, when you get these things, they're in pretty good shape. Yep, couldn't ask for more. The Oregon Trail and the Conspiracy of Pontiac by Francis Parkman. Oh dear, hold on. Well, I will leave the straggler by the nightstand in the bedroom. I'm going to show you all of my Library of America editions, including this new one, most of which have not been read, some of which have. Yeah, this is in fine shape. I mean, there's a little something there. Well, the name of the library is gone. It used to be that when a book was removed from a library, they would stamp discarded or something like that on it. This is not, so it makes me a little nervous. In the past, I would check with the libraries to make sure that it hadn't been stolen from the shelf, and never received a positive. Libraries do get rid of books quite frequently these days. This one says keep, but obviously it was not kept. So I have been reading The History of the United States by Henry Adams, which is 2 volumes in the Library of America set. And I have thought that I would like to read Francis Parkman's France and England in North America, or whatever the title is, next year. And then I thought, well, I just read Ned Blackhawk's The Rediscovery of America, in which he talked about the Conspiracy of Pontiac. And so I thought I would like to, since I'm going to possibly be reading Francis Parkman next year, I would like to read his Conspiracy of Pontiac. Let's see how long of a book that is. I know you don't, you probably don't care. The Conspiracy of Pontiac, Volume 1, Volume 2. So it's a hefty thing. The Oregon Trail is relatively slim. I have the Oregon Trail in a Penguin and have not read it. I think in a short video that I did, I showed you my secret stash. We have space issues in this house, and I have all of my Library of America books tucked away back here where I know that they are. So if I need something that's a Library of America book, I know where to go. There are exceptions. I have these poetry anthologies, which, since I'm trying to be a completist here, I should show you. They're very good. So this is Poets of the Civil War, Poets of World War II. Both of those, World War II particularly, you don't see a lot of anthologies for. World War I is common. Alas, it's all American poets, but you take what you can get. I've got a nice edition of Whittier, and then I've got a sonnets anthology. These are all nice books. And then this is the Library of America poetry anthology, and I wish I had something comparable to this for British poetry, but it's really marvelous. So this, of course, qualifies for the books that I've read all the way. There's 1 volume of the 17th and 18th centuries, volume 1 of the 19th century, Volume 2 of the 19th century, Volume 1 of the 20th century, and Volume 2 of the 20th century. So these are not kept in the hidden away spot. These are out where I can get them easily. And now I'm going to pull away the camouflage, pull out the real stuff. You can already see some titles peeking out. Now I think I have the major titles that I might be checking in with. So I'll just take them one at a time. The Debate on the Constitution. I can speak for this book. It's a marvelous anthology of pamphlets and so forth leading up to the creation of the Constitution, when the Articles of Confederation had proven itself ineffective. I had gotten, how far? I had gotten to page 486 when I took ill, and I was ill for a bit of a while, and I just never got back to the debate on the Constitution. At this point, were I to start again, I would have to start at the beginning, and I don't know if I will do that at this point. You will see I have a lot of other options here. Next row, I've got the Parkman, which I just recently picked up. So now, rather than United States history, I think I'm probably more interested in North American history. I think the government of the United States, invented by white men, is probably in its last gasps, and so with a limited futurity, and with a limited futurity for myself, I am less inclined to study it. But North America, I would like to see. Ned Blackhawk has some choice things to say. In fact, I put a video up just, I think, 2 days ago, based on when this will show. Choice things to say about Parkman and historians of his ilk. Parkman thought Native Americans were stupid and had other things to say. But given that introduction by Blackhawk, I think the history here is probably pretty good. It's considered a classic, and I believe Parkman is considered a good writer. I saw those at the Evanston Public Library many years ago, back in the day when I didn't realize that I could read such a thing. At that time, I couldn't check them out from the library and wouldn't have had the ability to take a stab at them anyhow. It's even yet not a guaranteed thing. So a couple of years ago, well, before I really started making a habit of reading and trying to up my skills, so it's got to be 3 or 4 years ago, I read the Library of America 4-volume set on the Civil War. And I was so enthused about it that I eventually picked up these. I had some friends who were talking about Sherman and Grant. I think they're quite remarkable figures. I really should try to get this library stuff off. It's really well, you take one off and then there's another one underneath. Well, I will. And you know, you're not paying the big bucks to come and watch me remove stickers from the spine of my books. But what the heck? Yep, you take it off and this is what you get. But at least it's less unsightly. I can even take a black marker perhaps and cover it up. Not that it's an eyesore when it's hidden behind everything else. So, then I have Thompson, not Randall Thompson, but Virgil Thompson. He was a musician and even a writer about music. I think he did a piece, an opera with Gertrude Stein, of all people. This is The State of Music and Other Writings. And when I decided to get the Parkman, I went through a vendor on eBay, and the vendor at eBay had the titles and had a buy 3, get 1 free deal. So I had to scour everything else that vendor had and came up with 2 volumes by Virgil Thompson. I almost said Randall Thompson again. And then Emerson. I don't particularly like Emerson, and I don't know where or when I picked this up. As a prowler among bookstores in the past, at some point, if I saw something like this, I would just pick it up. But essays and lectures, I really should give him his due. I like a couple of his poems, don't get me wrong. So you're going to see a lot more that I haven't read. This is Writings on the American Stage. I think I just bought it on a lark. This kind of anthology you can find generally for like $4 with free shipping online. They have different ones like baseball, and I don't think they're of perennial interest to a broad audience, so you do find them cheaply. I would assume that's what I did. Edmund Wilson, I went through a phase where I loved Edmund Wilson so much. These are also generally speaking, if you order Library of America editions, you will get a good copy. Mostly they're unread. They might be library editions, and the only problem is sometimes you will get them in a box instead of with the jacket, and sometimes they will come without the jacket. Before I became so persnickety, I got that sentence doesn't work. Before I got so persnickety, I got bamboozled a couple times, and I say bamboozled when it's really not, because if no mention was made of the jacket, then you can't count on a jacket. But now if I buy one of these things, I try to make sure I get a jacket with it. So I have still an awful lot of Wilson's individual books, but I think a lot of them are in here. Yeah, so it's got the Triple Thinkers, The Wound and the Bow, Classics and Commercials, The Shores of Light, Axel's Castle. So I should really make a point to get rid of those things in my paperback copies. Reporting Civil Rights, it's a 2-volume thing, and I have no idea why I picked this up. I think I actually read part of this somewhere, and I thought that looked pretty good, and I ordered it or something. It must have been. I don't know. It's been a long time. And World War I and America. After I read the Civil War set, I really got enthusiastic about the Library of America volumes on other editions, other wars. And so I picked them up where I could find them cheaply. And so I found this one. It's actually a gorgeous copy. And because I had such a marvelous experience with the Civil War, I really hope to get to these other war compilations. Now we're coming to the back row. And Whitman, this is probably the oldest Library of America that I have in my collection. I found it at a used bookshop years ago. It's my go-to Whitman, but as you can see, I don't go to Whitman very often. Washington Irving. It has Bracebridge Hall, Tales of a Traveler, and the Alhambra. Steve Donahue spoke really highly of the Alhambra in one of his videos, and so I had to pick it up, but I haven't gotten to it yet. Stephen Crane, Poetry and Prose. I should dip into it a little bit more. I read the Red Badge of Courage, his popular war novel, and was not enthusiastic about it. This is Willa Cather, early novels, which I picked up at my favorite old-time bookstore in Evanston fairly recently. And I read O Pioneers, which I was not smitten with. Also at that shop, I picked up the USA trilogy by Dos Passos, which I hope to get to in my reading long novels project. I've heard good things about it. And how long is it totally? It's about 1,200 pages. Hey, come on, dude. You see how it is? This is what he's after. Oh, and he pulled out James Baldwin, so that's. I used to have everything by Baldwin in little paperbacks, little mass market paperbacks. That's how long ago I had them. And I think this is a very good anthology that takes everything and puts it into one volume. And I'm talking about his essays, not his novels. I don't care for his novels. Here's Chestnut. I've read The Conjure Woman, and I'm not sure if I've read The Wife of His Youth and other. I don't think I have. I think it contains some continuation of the Conjure Woman stories. They're really marvelous stories. And I hope to get to The House Behind the Cedars at some point also. And Dubois, yeah, showing you this doesn't help. The writings, they have come out recently with an edition of Black Reconstruction, which I read in a non-Library of America volume. I'm so glad that it came out as such, and I would like to get it, and I would like to get a dust jacket for this. But I won't. It's not that critical for me unless I just happen to see it somewhere at the charity bookshop. Now we're getting into the war stuff. So there's a volume for the War of 1812. As I say, it bugged me that I would wind up with half of these things in slip cases and half with the jacket. One or the other would be fine. I like both versions, but as I say, it doesn't matter since it's all behind this. Now, there's 3 volumes to do with the American Revolution. So there are writings from the pamphlet debate, 1764 to 1772, and 1773 to 1776. So the American Revolution, the pamphlet debate, and there. And I don't exactly know why the library that used to have this did this to the cover. I don't like the aesthetics of it. But actually, I've learned that reading the things is more important. So that is the priority and not how it looks. And now, oops, I jammed in my Henry Adams. This is the second volume of the 2-volume set. As I say, volume 1 is on the nightstand. It's the thing I do before retiring of an evening. And so far I'm making decent progress, and I hope by year's end I will have finished both volumes. I think it's very good. I really think it's a marvelous history. Where I'm at right now is the conspiracy of Aaron Burr, which he goes into some detail on, and I never knew any of that history, and I'm very pleased to be introduced to it through Henry Adams's telling. I believe his book, The Education of Henry Adams, is also a historical piece about his lifetime, and I would like to get that at some point. I think I've looked around and just have not seen a cheap copy of it. Either I will get a Penguin edition of just that, or the Library of America edition, which includes a couple of novels which he wrote. But one of the novels is titled Democracy, and Penguin put that out as its own book too. So I suspect it's pretty good. And the third book included in that is something to do with that. Now I forget what it was. It was a former monastery in France. It's out on the water. The tide goes out, and then there's you can walk to it. But when the tide is in, it's completely surrounded. It was used as a prison at one point. I forget the name of that place. So Henry Adams. Okay, well, Reconstruction. This I picked up after the Civil War set, which I read, and I think it came out just about that time. And how far did I get with this? Okay, I got to 201, page 201. I think this was new, and I bought it new at the time because I liked the Civil War set so much, and I just had to move on into this. I had read the Du Bois, I think is how you say it, Black Reconstruction some years prior. And this, I just couldn't stand it. Everything was Andrew Johnson. I just couldn't stand it. It was horrible. I hope to pick it up at some point. And then the Civil War set, which, as I say, I wish I had them in one version or the other, but this was just how they came. And so each volume covers a single year. I wish I had them like this, because I like the jackets. In all, I like the jackets on the books. But that was not how they came, and so I read them as they are, and it is what's inside the books. Just really marvelous. They're filled with letters. They're filled with, I think, probably some speeches and stuff. Just excellent stuff. Okay. I've got slave narratives. These are great. The only one in here that I think is missing is 12 Years a Slave. I mean, there are plenty that are probably missing, but I'm thinking of the major arcana, if you will, the major ones. They're from story to story, they are radically different from each other, and they are all worth reading, especially if you are an American citizen and want to know about your own country's history. If you are interested in slavery at anywhere and any time, of course, they are also necessary because they are just about the only instances of first-person narratives by slaves themselves or ex-slaves. Oh, and I do have anti-slavery writings. I thought I didn't. Interesting. I wonder if it's from the same library. This was done sort of in that same style. I've read very little of this. Let me just look at the anti-slavery. Yeah, I've read so little of this. It's got David Walker in here. Yeah, well, of course it would, but I have that complete on its own. And it's got the Grimke's, which Penguin has a nice edition of. Some John Quincy Adams. Nice. Yeah, it's got poetry, Longfellow's poetry. I really should look at this. Thomas Wentworth Higginson. I once passed up a book at a used store which had something by him very eloquent, anti-slavery in topic, and I'm sure it's not this thing that's in here, and I regret forever that I didn't pick up that book. What is this? Oh, I have an outlier up on the top. Oh, Thompson. That's the other Virgil Thompson. The Music Chronicles. What was the Music Chronicles? I think a daily or a regular column that he had. And I can't remember. As I say, I bought the two just to fill out my Francis Parkman order. And upon looking at them, I think one of them I said I will try to read, and one of them I said I don't really need to read. Let me stick. Well, I'll just leave it here for now. And then what else is coming up? Okay, Douglass. This is his autobiographies. He wrote 3, and basically he took the first and added to it and changed it a little bit. Then he took the second and added to it and changed it a little bit. I wonder if the second was customarily reprinted with some speeches and stuff, and I wonder if they include that here. They have also very recently put out a second volume of Frederick Douglass, and I would like to have that also. Let's see. No, so it must just be the Penguin edition of the second autobiography, My Bondage and My Freedom, has all of the other stuff. Oh, well, wait, it says appendix. Oh no, this includes it, so that must be how it was originally published. I read it in the Penguin edition, and I have not as yet read the very first one, which is the one that was most famous and still is most commonly read, assigned in schools and so forth, because it's the shortest. But really, if you're only going to read one, I say read the final one. It takes you a lot farther in time, and his entire life is of interest, and his prose is magnificent. Okay. Then I have him next to the other prose master, Abraham Lincoln. Wonderful books. I've had these probably about as long as that Whitman, and I've read these a couple of times. And what else? I can't imagine that I have anything else. Oh yeah, I do, of course. I have Madison. I've never read anything about Madison. Since reading the Henry Adams, I am very intrigued by the character of Madison now, and I might like to. I don't have Jefferson, and you can find it cheaply here and there, and I've always passed on it because I have the Modern Library edition of Jefferson. Jefferson in Library of America is like 2,000 pages long or something. It's crazy. And I probably read all I care to read of Jefferson. I liked it, but I don't see myself undertaking everything. Although I am open to that possibility, and if I decide to buy something through eBay and need to fill out an order in such a way, at this point I would definitely take that Jefferson, just because I'm a bit of a completist. And then I have John Quincy Adams. I really want to get John Adams, his father, and these are his diaries, and they start when he's a boy. What year? So you've got 1779. He's got to be just a young teenager, maybe 14 or something, all the way through to the year of his death, 1848. And he's, as I've said, you sort of fall in love with the man just with that daily contact. Maybe you would with anybody that you read. I don't know. And I love this painting of him, but I have been told it's not a very good painting by my partner, so there's a little bit of dispute. So I see, I have Adams, and then I have Madison, and then I have Lincoln, and then I had Thompson up on top, and this new thing that just came in will have to be an outlier like that on the top. Oh. Do I have it here? Yeah, Parkman. I'll put that up on the top as well. This is my secret stash. You know, other. So I have room for what? 1, 2 more maybe. Let me just test this out and see how many more I can fit. 2 more. That's it. And then I'm at my limits with Library of America books, I think, because I've got no more space. So let me just restock the shelves here. Oh, wait. I'm not sure how I'm doing this. Well, I will do that off camera because this might require some thought. So this is my collection of Library of America books, and I thought I would share those with you at the request of a viewer. I thought it would be embarrassing to me because I have read so little of them, but they are possibilities, and I think I will keep with the practice of picking up a volume if I happen to see it. I believe I saw an Emerson somewhere recently, though, and I decided not to pick it up. And I don't think it was the same one. I am a vain parcel of inconsistencies tied or something. I know I'm mixing 2 different things there. I contain multitudes, let's say. So I will leave that there, and thank you very much for stopping by my channel.